Train Liz, back today with another coronavirus video, and again back with my friend the Essential Chicken, which in today's video you're not only going to learn another essential thing that I found this chicken is extremely useful for, but you're going to find out all the coronavirus news, everything going on at Amazon for both brand new sellers, advanced sellers, and somewhere in the middle sellers. I'm going to cover that and a whole lot more, including the hot keywords of the week and how you can actually take this information and use it to find your next private label product. So if you're excited, I know I'm excited, so let's go ahead and jump straight into the coronavirus. Good thing I got my nunchucks again. Whoa! So let's talk about the USA because we always start there. And in order to actually illustrate to you how important this period of time is with essential and non-essential, I've not only brought on a screenshot of my actual account where Amazon clearly says right here their number one priority, and the reason that they can't take many of you's inventory, and they can take many of you's inventory, is that right now they are making sure to ensure the health and safety of their employees by raising wages and making sure they hire additional people, over 100,000 people that is. Now, the crazy thing about that is that, as I showed you before, nobody really knows what the heck is essential versus non-essential. This chicken, and I will not stop saying that, is essential. So, you know, it's good and reassuring for me to know that people's lives are being risked in order to ship this chicken. And yes, I did order the chicken from a seller, but, you know, that was just to prove a point. However, let's be serious here. This chicken is extremely useful. Here's another useful thing I found it for. Take a look at this actual video down somewhere here below where I discovered something amazing that it can actually do. It's essentially helping me cook soup. You know, as I told you guys last time around, I found that these guys make tremendous cheerleaders, especially when they're out there supporting the health workers of America. But I'll tell you the other thing that I've actually found out they do great for. They are fantastic pot stirrers. So I'm making this delicious chicken soup right now. Looks very good. And it seems like it tastes very good. How do you like it? You damn cannibal. Where the hell do we find these guys? So obviously, I know that I've proved my point here and I keep harping on it like a broken record, but I'll continue to do so. What does this mean for new sellers? Well, I have discovered working with certain clients that depending on how much you've actually sold on the account determines whether you're a new seller or a veteran seller. And if you haven't sold much on the account, then expect to still be sitting on the sidelines and waiting to ship your inventory in. There's no real telling how long this is gonna last, but if you're brand new and you've never sold on Amazon, you will have to sit on the sidelines. On a good note, it is going to take you a couple months to actually source a really good product. So don't panic. Still continue to do whatever it is you're doing. It's a lot better than sitting on the couch and eating all the Cheetos in the house like I've done the past couple weeks. So make it a point to still continue your Amazon business regardless. Now, if by some miracle you are allowed to send stuff in, create the shipping plan. Even if you don't have anything to send in, you can at least modify that shipping plan later and add things to it and send your stuff in. You can delete it later. So make sure you get your stuff in. Second thing, if you're a veteran seller in the USA, then you're probably selling like hotcakes right now. My sales are like they are during Christmas and I'm almost run out. My stuff is not scheduled to arrive from China until mid-May. So what does that mean for veteran sellers? Well, for veteran sellers, either turn down your PPC, turn it off altogether. What I basically did is I lowered my campaign budgets to $1. That way I'm still selling on there, but very light. And I've also raised my prices up to much higher than it even sells during Christmas. And guess what? People are still buying like hotcakes. Now, the other thing that I also did is I was running some coupons. I did make a mistake by actually turning the coupons off when in fact I should have just raised my price. Now, the reason for this is that right now you cannot create brand new coupons. So I'm stuck without a coupon, which as we all know increases conversion. So if you're a veteran seller, do not make that same mistake that I did. That, my friends, is why I tell you, sometimes I'm not playing with a full deck. Now, if you are running out of inventory, then make sure you air freight some. If not, expect to almost have to relaunch this thing because a lot of people are running out. Chances are you might not have to because of that reason, but I'm still budgeting some money just in case I do run out, which it looks like I will run out on 2 products, and a third is possible. Now let's talk about China, and specifically China for both new and veteran sellers. What's happening in China? Well, I will tell you this much. China has got their shit together. What do I mean by that? That every order I'm making, they are hitting it. And what I'm talking about is manufacturing time and production time. However, I did want to share with you one thing. If you are drop shipping from China or shipping product from China, which is pretty much all of us, understand that the delay is all at the port. And to illustrate that, I've brought on a very specific example from my Shopify drop shipping store. Now this can be Amazon drop shipping from China, Shopify drop shipping from China, or just manufacturing from China, period. It's all being affected. Here is a screenshot of the actual tracking from one of my products coming out of China. And you'll notice that on the 13th right here of April, it arrived at the Shenzhen facility, right? So being shipped out on the 13th, was finally en route to Hong Kong on the 16th. So it took 3 days just to get on some kind of truck to Hong Kong, right, through DHL. And then once it arrived in Hong Kong on the 16th, I was just sitting there, twiddling my thumbs, tapping my foot, counting sheep, doing all sorts of crazy stuff until I finally saw it popped up in JFK. Now take a look at this. On the 26th, it departed Hong Kong by plane and it hit JFK on the 26th. So basically it sat in Hong Kong for 10 days. This is the kind of delay that we're gonna see right now, namely in Hong Kong, and I still haven't figured out what kind of delay we're seeing with USA. Right now, as you can see, this thing hit JFK, and in next week's update video, I'll report how long it took to get from JFK to Miami and to be processed. That's all still a mystery, so we will find that out next week. Moral of the story is, expect your shit to be on hold at the port. Manufacturing on China, top notch. I would 100% get another product made today, right now, if I could. And so one last thing I wanted to cover before we jump into the hot keywords of the week, that is the status of my actual drop shipping stores. Now, if you didn't already see this week's update, you always want to look at that. It's every Wednesday that I actually recap how my drop shipping stores did. And while I've gotten a lot of questions about this, I just wanted to cover the most common ones right now, as well as kind of really show you guys and girls the drawbacks of having a drop shipping store. So first and foremost, there comes a question of, yes, this stuff is coming from Walmart. So there's a lot of things at play here. And despite the fact that they're really large numbers, you learn that the margins are only between 13 and 18%. So what does that mean? That's still a lot of money, right, Liz? Well, yes, absolutely right. However, here are some of the other problems that I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. For those of you all that do not know what payability is, I actually have payability enabled in one of those stores. And the reason for that is that you really need a lot of cash flow. So what does that mean? That means that you have to have a credit card with a lot of available limit. Now, I will say that the douche nozzles over at Amex decided to cut my actual limit right in the midst of this. And that's because I had too much cards at a really high balance. And the reason for that is really that we're charging in excess of $60,000 to $100,000 per month on each one. So they pretty much stay max for the majority of the statement, and then they get paid off only after Amazon pays me. And that's where payability comes in. With payability, you get daily cash out. So every single day I cash out whatever I have on payability and I immediately make a payment. And that's how I've actually begun to play it, despite the fact that those douche nozzles over at Amex told me that I had a lot higher limit to deal with. So I was basically going with what they said their word was, and it didn't turn out to be the case because now they've actually judged my account based on the fact that I did not make daily payments like I'm doing right now. So just completely conflicting information, and they get about as douchey as it gets. So for those of you all that are thinking about doing this, I highly say do not, because there's a lot of issues with drop shipping stores. The second one is the issue of price gouging. If you haven't heard, I am going to cover this next week. Amazon is being sued for price gouging. Now, they've tried to put this responsibility onto each unique seller, and I did have a store back in the summer get suspended for price gouging, but I do have some friends right now that have multiple stores suspended for price gouging, and so Amazon is pushing that responsibility over to the seller. Now, what does that mean when you get suspended because of price gouging? It means they hold your payout. So my buddy has $60,000 stuck in his account, and Amazon will not give it back. That's the actual bad part of drop shipping. So although the numbers look sexy, I just wanted to try and dissuade some of you noobs from actually jumping into that business model. I do not recommend it. from Amazon. However, I do recommend it with Walmart, which we'll start covering in the future. And now in regards to my private label stores, yes, we're having record breaking numbers. However, I'm about to run out of stock, and that means I'll be out of inventory for a select period of time. And in turn, I'll have to relaunch, which means more money out of my pocket. So despite the fact that I am having record breaking numbers, I'm gonna have to pay more to get those products actually ranked. So I know, first world problems. However, like I said, there has never been a better time to start with Amazon, which leads me into the next segment. Let's talk about the hot products of the week, the hot keywords. What should you be jumping into if you actually want to get started with Amazon right now, which I highly advise. All right, so I'm only going to cover a few of these because I don't have that much time, and really I have about 10 to 15 that actually caught my eye. The first one, as most of you saw in the last video, is this one, sexy toys for women. And the women out there of America, you all should be ashamed of yourself for putting this into Amazon. And I'm not talking about the vibrator, the dildo, the sexy toy, whatever it is you're looking for. You should be ashamed of yourself that your spellings flat out sucks. I mean, what are the odds that you've got thousands and thousands of women spelling this shit wrong? Sexy toys for women, you could have at least learned how to hit the freaking space bar. Like I said before, what is it? You got carpal tunnel from using the damn thing? Be careful out there. There is some work-related injuries even when you're at home working from home on Zoom. You know, most of us can't see what's going on from the neck down, but just be careful out there, ladies. Now, what did make me a little bit more proud to be an American here is that I at least see that we're all working together. If we're on a team, sexy toys for couple also was one of the hottest search keywords. But again, what is going on with you people? Learn how to spell for F's sake. Look at this. Sexy TOYSTORY for couple? Which one were you looking at? I'm kind of disturbed by the pervertedness that I see with some of these misspellings. So, all right, let's get on to the real stuff, which is jump rope workout, a excellent keyword. Now, I will say this much, while this isn't an actual physical product, it just goes to show that you can actually sit down and create a Kindle book, much like we're creating Kindle books for children and for adults. You can also create a jump rope workout, and guess what? Chances are it's going to sell really well because a lot of people are working out at home right now instead of sitting on the couch. Next one up is oven mitts. This thing is as old as time. I mean, whose grandma didn't use this? Hello, oven mitts will sell, and they'll sell extremely well. I don't even have to go over the numbers, but you can imagine these do well for mom, for grandma, and for just about anybody that can operate an oven, which means a lot of you guys, it's a sausage fest here, cannot. Now let's get into another one, garden flags. While this is slightly seasonal because gardens peak in the actual summer and spring months, I will say this much, with more people than ever taking care of their actual garden and growing their own stuff. And I'm not talking about marijuana, okay? I'm talking about real stuff like radishes and stuff that we use on a day-to-day basis. Radishes are so delicious. I'm talking about people are going to be using their gardens more. So jump into the garden flag. It's not actually that competitive. So while I actually pull up the numbers, I'm going to talk about the next one, which people are always asking me, what supplements can I sell? Well, right now, the melatonin gummy niche is not really that competitive. And I'm talking about compared to turmeric and all sorts of supplements that have taken off. Melatonin gummies are pretty hot. And I will say this much, gummies of any sort are red hot. So if you're not in the gummy niche, particularly the gummy supplements, you might want to take a look at it because, again, it could be very simple to rank for this compared to something like turmeric. So I brought up the garden flag niche just so that y'all can see that some people are making some serious money with this. Look at this particular seller right here, $99,000. And if I just keep going down, there's a ton of money being made in this niche, all for a damn flag. Now notice this, people as little as 19 reviews making $12,000. Here's 49 reviews, $14,000, 17 reviews, $9,000, another 17 reviews, $7,400. So you really don't have to put a lot of reviews on this product to already be making as much as the average American salary. Now, if that's not capitalist, I don't know what is. All right, and then a couple last ones, the UV light. UV light can also be used for germs and for killing germs. So anything in the UV niche right now is fire. So if you haven't looked at the UV niche, take a look at it. You'll see that I know what I'm talking about. Now let's look at this QUININE. I have no idea what it does, but I do know it's another one of those supplement keywords that once again doesn't have a lot of competition. So if you're adamant about the supplement niche, now another red hot niche, the boxing niche, and it doesn't matter if it's boxing bags, boxing gloves, just about anything in the boxing niche, even tape, is selling like fire. So take a look at the numbers on that on your own, just because I'm flying right through these now. All right, so here is another further argument for selling seeds and gardening stuff. This is the seed starter tray, which is much like the one that I showed you where I have my own personal garden in my condo. Now, this stuff is selling red hot. So take a look at the numbers. And then we last leave with the blackout curtains. However, I do not advise getting into this niche. All I wanted to do is show you guys what's possible when you actually build an Amazon business and you look at it in the long term instead of instant gratification. We're not talking about the instant gratification from those sexy Toy Story from couple that we're looking for out there. We're talking about the gratification that's more long term. These actual blackout curtains right now are hitting close to $1 million in a single month. And that's just from one company. There's a lot of companies experiencing a lot of success in this, including Amazon. Anytime Amazon jumps into a niche, you know that there's sales. And the reason that I can say that is that there was just an article released from the Wall Street Journal saying that Amazon illegally uses third-party seller information. I'll cover that in a future video. But look at this. Nice Town is taking it to Money Town. Nice Town, if you take a look at all the numbers and add them up, it's well over multiple millions per month. So just goes to show you, if you put a little bit of elbow grease and you listen to me, you got a big, bright future in Amazon. So that's it for this video. Again, as usual, let me know what your questions and comments are, and I'll see y'all in the next video.